China, who has celebrated the complete end of the epidemic in China, is expanding its virus-related blockade as Wuhan pneumonia spreads again. On January 2nd, when some people in Shenyang, Liaoning province, were infected, the entrance to their homes were blocked by iron boards. On the same day, residents in Liaoning province escaped through a barricade set up by the authorities, and some of the people who were arrested by the police were taken to the detention center. On January 3rd, there was also a source of infection in Jinzhou, Liaoning province, and the entire apartment complex was blocked so that no people could be seen on the street. The next day in Daran, another source of infection was discovered. The authorities then blocked the entrance to the apartment, as was the case in the Wuhan. When people woke up, the first thing they saw was the barbed wire that was put up in front of the apartment complex without further explanation, and that was what appalled the president. At the national level, China reported just 33 new C-19 cases on January 4th. The National Health Commission announced January 5th that 14 of the 17 local cases were from Hubei. In Shijiazhuang, the capital of northern China's Hubei province has entered wartime mode as individual infections reappeared in the province. But the situation is even more serious than expected as a super spreader has been found in Daran. Tang Yi, head of the Civil Affairs Bureau of Daran, announced on January 1st that a patient did not test positive until the 11th nucleic acid test, indicating a greater difficulty of identifying potential C-19 carriers. This means a 14 days quarantine is insufficient, and the city has added 7 days to quarantines to curb the outbreak. We can see that the real situation is even worse if we see that China, which declared the end of the C-19, has announced an official patient. Meanwhile, another serious problem arose in China. A fake vaccines showed up. According to the Global Times, there are more and more black marketeers. According to reports, international students in China who needed to go abroad were approached via SNS and said they could receive the vaccine in a few days. Since the vaccine has not been officially approved for mass vaccination with the exception of some cities like Jiaxiang and EU, black marketeers were finding students by promising them faster access to the vaccines without waiting lists despite the increased demand. They promised to give them 2 doses of the Sinopharm vaccine in Beijing's top public hospital for $450. Considering the cost of the Sinovac vaccination is $30, it would be at least 15 times more expensive. The Chinese vaccine was being delivered by an official route. Both Sinopharm and Sinovac have denied having hired an individual or agent to sell the approved vaccine and warned the public not to use these vaccines. Even more frightening than these black marketeers are the overseas counterfeiters. Industry insiders told the Global Times that most of the so-called Chinese vaccines advertised overseas were only counterfeited with an unknown source of protein or water. A study by the Australian National University found that vaccines and other scarce medical products are offered for sale on the dark web, an online market that provides quick and untraceable access to illegal drugs or weapons. Antonio Meggi, president of the Del Aldini Doctors Association in Rome, recently warned, "Don't take any chances by buying Chinese vaccines privately from the black market. We will have to wait because most of them are counterfeit." According to the Italian media Fatto Quotidiano, many family doctors in Rome have reported that a number of Italians have bought so-called C-19 vaccines of unknown origin, which may have been made in China and brought to Italy by Italian Chinese, but it is difficult to distinguish between the real and the fake vaccines. Even Chinese embassies in South Africa, Italy, Uganda, and Côte d'Ivoire have recently issued releases reminding local Chinese not to buy or get vaccinated with illegal C-19 vaccines without authorization. China is a country famous for its counterfeit products, yet many people are surprised that in the prevailing situation, counterfeit vaccines are actually showing up. How fake vaccines and real vaccines will work is uncertain, and the vaccines which has caused the various incidents is already being distributed around the world. The Chinese are no exception to those who have doubted about the vaccine made in China. Beijing-based lawyer Guo Li said the authorities at the residential complex in the southern Chinese city of Guangzhou had offered the injection to families living in the apartment block. This is what Guo said. My friend who lived there declined to accept the vaccines because he was concerned about the safety of the vaccines, especially for children. All other families living there also refused. They would rather take the risk of infection and use it to control their own destiny. Xie Lijuan, who lives in Shanghai, also said that there was a little coverage of the vaccination program in the official Chinese media. This is what Xie said. Not much has been reported about it, perhaps it's security concerns. In China, there are already vaccinations for civil servants and medical institutions. My sister works in the medical facility and she said that the hospital asked her to register for the vaccination, but no one at hospital would do so. You don't know how safe this first batch will be. Despite the fact that even the Chinese people do not trust the Chinese vaccines, some countries to which US and UK vaccines are not available have no choice but use Chinese vaccines. With all the unexplained problems and issues related to the vaccines, China is still trying to commercialize its vaccines worldwide. So the next video is about China's vaccine diplomacy and how they keep trying to assert themselves on the world stage and pull countries to their side. What do you think about this video? Thanks for watching. Your comments and likes. Be safe.